So a few hours ago, the Milwaukee Bucks were able to accomplish the feat that nobody said was possible about 5 to 6 months ago when the beginning of the season, or at least the first part of the season, was going on. The whole story about this Milwaukee Bucks team was it's going to be the exact same thing that happened the prior few years, and that they were going to not even make the finals or even have a chance to be sniffing the finals. And I'm one of those people. I made a video saying that the Bucks should fire Mike Budenholzer as the head coach. I made a tweet that said that Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday were the worst waste of like $330 million that the world has ever seen, which part of me still believes that. But I know I end up looking like an idiot right now, and a lot of people look like idiots right now because of the fact that the Bucks are going to be playing for the NBA championship this upcoming week. Now, there's a couple things that are funny to me about this Bucks team making the finals. Part one of funny things about this Milwaukee Bucks team that made the finals, literally the thing I just said 2 seconds ago, is that it seems like Brook Lopez shifted back into when he was like 25 years old playing for the Brooklyn Nets. He actually looks like he can be a viable threat at the center position. And when they're going against this Phoenix Suns team, I don't know if it'll really be a cakewalk for DeAndre Ayton like it has been when he played against the Clippers. The Clippers. He's a Sun. Almost thought I was saying the wrong thing. But when he played against the Clippers and he's going against Zubac or Batum or maybe a little bit of Marcus Morris or Markieff, whichever Morris brother is there, he had a really easy time against the Clippers, is what I'm trying to say. And he won't have that easy a time against Brook Lopez. At least that's how I feel it will be. And that goes to the offensive and defensive side. Brook Lopez not only presents a threat defensively against DeAndre Ayton, but DeAndre Ayton is going to have to work against Brook Lopez, not only rebounding, not only when it comes to the paint, but Brook Lopez, this will be the first guy I think DeAndre Ayton has gone against this playoff run that he has to worry about stretching the floor at the center position. This might be a series that we look back on and question whether or not DeAndre Ayton, we're kind of at this point where DeAndre Ayton is like consensus. This was a good pick for the Phoenix Suns to take him first over Luka and Trey. And I really think there's a chance after this finals that we might be taking that quote back a little bit. Now, the other funny thing to me that surrounds this storyline of Milwaukee making the finals is the fact that Giannis hasn't been there for the 2 games that they played incredibly. I mean, they had a, 34-point win on last Friday against Atlanta, but you look at the series, once Giannis went down, they win Game 5 by 11 points, and that either was the game that he got injured or that was the first game. That was the first game without him, so they win by 11. Tonight they won by, 10 points? I am not looking at the score. I'm looking at Basketball Reference, and they don't update till the next day. So, moral of the story is the Giannis-less Milwaukee Bucks played really well, actually. And it just presents a weird thing because if they go through a majority of this finals or if they go through the whole finals without Giannis, which I think is really unlikely, if they win a couple games off the Suns without Giannis and then he comes back and then they lose, something weird like that, there's going to be a weird storyline around Milwaukee that's like, wait, is Milwaukee actually better without Giannis? Which is so stupid I can't even put it into words, but there's a really good chance that ends up happening. Now, to get back to the point of this video, which was this Milwaukee team does deserve some apologies. I'm not going to apologize for the fact that Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton both had a good game at the same time. I'm not going to apologize for the fact that Mike Budenholzer is probably the most overrated head coach in NBA history. And I'm not going to apologize about the fact that they have a lot of guys who can really show up for 1 or 2 games in the series and then be absolutely obsolete for the rest of the series. And then they just have some guys who are obsolete for the series in general. I will apologize for Bobby Portis because, I mean, what Bobby Portis has gone through as a player over these past 2 months even, when he was a major part of the lineup at the end of the regular season and during the first round of this playoffs, then he goes to completely not getting played against Brooklyn, and then he comes back against Atlanta and is probably the 3rd best guy on this Milwaukee team behind Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. I would say Bobby Portis is probably the 3rd best guy. Maybe it's it's not Brook Lopez for fucking sure. So yeah, it's Bobby Portis. He's been the third best player on this Atlanta Hawks, on this Milwaukee Bucks team, and he proved to be a very steady force against Atlanta, who really didn't have a big that could match them. I will apologize for saying that Mike Budenholzer should have been fired a couple months, or maybe not even a couple months, maybe. Oh yeah, that's about a month ago now when they went down 0-2 to the Brooklyn Nets when they lost the first two games by, what is that, a combined 47 points? Jesus Christ. They actually got beat in the plus-minus of this series, I think. But anyways, this Milwaukee Bucks team, I will apologize for saying that Coach Budenholzer should be fired, because to do what he did, to win 2 straight games against a really, really, really good Atlanta Hawks team that possibly could have even beaten the Suns for the NBA Finals, to beat them 2 games in a row without Giannis and with a bunch of role guys really stepping up and taking over, I think he had a major hand in that. And I'm not going to overstate it and say that he is the sole reason that they are going to the finals, but I do think that I probably discredited him a lot more than he deserved. And, I mean, there's no chance that he heard it, but whether or not he heard it or not, I was wrong. And I will apologize for being wrong. And now I kind of want to apologize to the Atlanta Hawks, because the Atlanta Hawks just had a Houston Rockets happen to them. And what I mean by that is, the Houston Rockets, if you're a Rockets fan, I'm sorry, but they go up 3-2 against the Golden State Warriors a few years ago when Kevin Durant gets injured. They play the next 2 games, granted, without Chris Paul. But, Atlanta played without Trae Young, so yeah, that's scary. That's eerily similar. So, getting back to it, Rockets go up 3-2 against the Warriors like a few years ago. The Warriors end up losing Kevin Durant for the rest of the series, and Houston can't win 2 games against a team without Kevin Durant. The Atlanta Hawks could not win 2 games against the team without the Greek Freak, without Greeky Freaky. And yes, they didn't have Trae Young, but this team was really good. And to not win 2 games against a team without their best player, without their best defensive player, offensive player, their probably best playmaker, best rebounder, best scorer, best... What else is he the best at there? He's literally the best at everything in Milwaukee. He could play football and probably be the best tight end on the team, or best whatever you want him to play. He could be best, even quarterback. Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. He's literally the best athlete in the state of Wisconsin, and they could not beat the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis on the floor, and that's just poor on the Atlanta Hawks part. With all that being said, that's going to be the video for me. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like. If you didn't, make sure you leave a dislike. I kind of just took a dump on literally every Hawks fan that might have been watching this to the end. So you probably hate me, but I don't take it back. Yeah, if you liked it, like the video. If you didn't like it, dislike the video. If you like this video a lot, you can hit subscribe. You can comment and tell me that you really liked the video. You can do whatever you want, man. I don't control you. But I'll see you in the next video. Peace.